Hey guys, before we get this party started, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Obviously, there's not a lot of concerts going on, but Live Nation will always have your back. They always have ours, so we always want to make sure that everyone knows to go check livenation.com for updates about tickets you may have had tickets for rescheduled events, things of that nature. For our Colorado family, don't forget to check out our friends Seed and Smith and Live Well. Those two are, they've always kept us high. They keep us elevated for these episodes. And then obviously go check out our friends New Denzian. Her website right now currently has all of those links for restaurants that are doing takeout and delivery. But welcome to the Quarantine Chronicles. Zane, go ahead, hit the music, and let's get to it with me and CB and the boys from Thursday Lines. Cheers.
The suppression of the use of marijuana and of the forces lurking behind it are the most important jobs this department is now engaged in. In 1930, the records on marijuana in the Washington office of the Narcotics Division scarcely filled a small folder like this. Today, they fill cabinets.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Coloradians, and everyone that's smart enough to listen from the outside.
It's one of the most amazing plants we've ever discovered.
The pot party, the trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
Chris, we're going to keep this casual. We have a pandemic on our hands. People don't turn to us for fucking knowledge. They probably turn to us for a little bit of brevity, a little bit of humor, and a little bit of stupidity, a little bit of stoner knowledge, and a little bit of dank eats. So let's have a quick good time, and then we'll introduce our guests, and then we'll just tee off on that. 3. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another week of Stoned Appetit. I just did the Wayne's World intro, and it's just me and Chris in the room today because we're all on motherfucking quarantine. So put up with us for a couple minutes. We're going to have a little bit of a different dynamic going for the next couple of weeks. We're going to do some intros where we talk about restaurants that we've been eating at locally to promote takeout and delivery, as long as that the mayor and the governor allow that to happen. We'll also talk about TV show recaps, TV shows that we were watching, rewatches. We'll be taking tips on Twitter and Instagram from y'all. But before we get this started, we had a bunch of episodes, and we want to apologize we haven't posted anything. We didn't post them because most of the events and things that we interview about are surrounded around specific events, whether it be the Boogie at the Broadmoor or dinners and the monthly menu at Hops and Pie. We've held all of those because we feel like those will be beneficial when we come out of this. It'll be fun to promote those episodes, and because they had a lot of life in them, and I feel like it would be a little bit just silly to post them now. So we're going to leave those there. And so y'all missed up a week last week. So for those that are still sticking with us, we're back this week. We have a guest that are on the back end of this. It's the guys from Thursday Lines, hilarious Instagram account, all about enjoying the social life and libations that are out there. But that's our little forewarning before we get into this episode. This is Kip, as always. To my left, as always, is old CB. How are you, Chris?
We're in quarantine, man. So we're doing as best we can, I guess.
Dude, it's just fucking, I mean, I don't mind. I enjoy living with you because you're a normal person. You're a great cook. You clean up very well. And so all of these things are like beneficial. And if I was living by myself, I would be fucking bored. So no matter what I've always said negatively about you, I apologize. I am very thankful to have not only a roommate right now, but you as a great roommate. So you're a fantastic roommate. Quarantine sucks balls.
I appreciate that. And ditto. I mean,
it's the fucking worst.
It is bad. It is bad. But, what is it? McConaughey said after every red light, there's a green light. So it will happen.
I mean, I've never heard, that's an interesting, is that a Buick commercial?
It could be, but I think he like
a movie line where that comes in.
No, he didn't say it in a movie line. I think he posted it on some social media. He gave like a little speech. But anyways, I think like moving forward, we ought to do a couple check-ins a week just to maintain some kind of normalcy and talk about stuff. And I was thinking when you were talking about like discussing what's going on, maybe every Sunday we'll post like a recipe or something we're cooking, because obviously during quarantine, this is a good time to fucking test shit out.
Yeah, and I mean, you've been in the kitchen, so we haven't really posted anything. I mean, the last week has been kind of hectic, just with the day job bullshit. Obviously, we don't do this fucking full time. We barely get an episode out every week without the C word or, calling someone something inappropriate. So to say that this is a full-time job would be silly. But, yeah, so it's been kind of shit hitting the fan. So next, we're going to kind of find a little structure to this new, reality, I guess we have.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do 20 minutes at the beginning of the episode where it'll be us just shooting the shit, recapping restaurants, deals that may be going on, places to promote, things that are going on to kind of help get restaurants and industries that are in, and while Live Nation and the bands aren't playing right now, we'll get back to that eventually, but we'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about some at-home recipes Chris is womping up. And we're going to have those videos on YouTube and on Instagram.
And I mean, like, we also want like your support. Like, send us fucking stories of maybe what you're cooking, what you're smoking, and fucking board games.
Oh, dude.
Or I mean, like puzzles. Like, just send us quarantine shit.
I mean, albeit we do. Yeah, that's a great call. That we need more. Just give us random pictures. We'll enjoy that. Maybe some.
Yeah,
some good puzzles.
Like, should we buy a PS4?
That's a good question. So that's a discussion. So this time next week, when y'all listen to this episode, we will have a new gaming system. And we're actually going to put a poll on the internet tonight to see which one we get because we're buying one. Shout out to our boys at Denver Sports. Y'all's episode will drop as soon as we get off quarantine. That was a terrible thing. Like, we did Denver Sports, and we talked about the playoffs. And so how the fuck are we going to drop an episode that was talking about a bar that's going to be great for March Madness and the NBA playoffs when there are none? So we had to abandon those for the time being, but yeah.
Along those, and that sucks for DNVR. Like, man, we're going to be back supporting you guys as hard as can be once this whole deal blows over.
And they're not the only ones. The guys over at Fox Run Cafe that just opened the breakfast digs over on Colfax.
Yeah.
Colfax. Those guys have a breakfast spot that opened the Tuesday after Hancock threw down the hammer. And so it's like, shit. I mean, it's not an opportunity for any of these restaurants these are our friends and the folks that we've had on our podcast, so we feel that we need to use this platform for good.
Yeah.
But we had to make sure we did it the right way.
And the funny thing is, we probably haven't conveyed this as much as we could, but like, these people that we interview that own these restaurants are crazy into what they do, and they love their people. And I just can't, like, after being in the hospitality business, I just can't fucking imagine like the stress and how much heartache they're in. So like, I don't think it's much to ask our local listeners to just, like, one day out of the week, find one of these small restaurants and order a meal to go. Like, you can't cook at home every night. You're not that good.
I'm so sick of cooking. Like, we've done the taco night. You've done, like, dank dishes. I've done frozen pizzas. I've done everything from trying to make, like, recipes that are fire to I just can't do it every night. I need 2 nights out, and I used to enjoy the camaraderie of us going and like partying with friends and eating supper and then going to the bar.
Yeah.
But it's not there, so we have to make that at home. And we can't just exclude the supporting the restaurant business.
Yeah.
So but we can add booze to that now, too.
Exactly. And so, like, as long as we can get curbside, like last week we got some hummus and stuff from Softa. But, I mean, maybe each week, just at least, like, one night a week, just be like, fuck it, date night in if you're with your girl and, like, order dank-ass food from a...
Dude,
like, so many restaurants are providing awesome meals.
I mean, yeah, and there's some restaurants, and we're going to dive. Actually, we can do it right here. Like the folks at Dana Rodriguez and her team at the Hot Corner, as I like to call it, but it's Super Mega BN and Working Class, and she's made a combo platter on that menu, so you're actually getting a little both the best worlds.
Slinging booze too hard.
Yeah, and cart driver right there, and then our boy Kelly, and then we've had, like you mentioned, Alone, and then there's Blue Pan, and we're going to dive into all the segments. And then Stanley, they were proactive in that, and so it seems like folks like fucking Florida are going to make it end up keeping us down here longer, but hopefully let's do also, this is an idea we can have, and we can spitball it with our listeners and our followers that are loyal and engaged with us. What if we did not like a death pool or a baby pool, but what day will the quarantine be lifted? Because I feel like, I know we're a week deep now, and I had to have a week to just kind of compose myself. I was fucking angry last week.
You were a little bit angry. You seem in a
Shut
better
the
state.
fuck up, Chris. I'm talking. Yeah, I'm still a little bit angry and a little bit anxious. It's just all of it, but it seems like the end is not nearly in sight. So what if we did like everybody, you come put your name down on the calendar for a day, and it's like $20 to put your name down, and then we give all of that money to an organization that needs it, like the Colorado Food Bank or whomever else may be, usually benefiting from these situations that aren't small business association, whatever it may be, but something like that. And then the winner we'll do a slew of gift cards. We have gift cards from weed companies. We have gift cards from restaurants.
maybe
throw some cash in there.
Yeah, and maybe we can find a couple more restaurants to throw like $50 gift cards or something, or
That's actually a good idea. We can use that money on the front end, and then we'll use that money to buy gift cards, and then we'll use those gift cards to go support the restaurants. So it's doubly bonus because they'll get you back in once they open back up, or at least they'll get you circulating back. All right, that's a good call, Chris. All right, so we're going to do that. So for those that are listening, we're going to enlist someone that's smarter than us to create this pool on I don't even know how the fuck you go about doing a calendar pool. It's not like you can easily do brackets and such, but we'll figure it out.
Somebody knows.
Yeah, check our bios on the website. You'll see it. Or fucking on the links on the whatever. All right, so here we go. We're going to do a quick quarantine chronicles. We're going to go top restaurants that you would go to for a specific set of genres. So if folks want to know where you would go hit up, Chris, or what you're watching, or what your video game or gaming system of choice is, they'll get to know this right now. So we're going to start with quarantine movies and shows. What are we watching right now that everyone needs to be on if they're not on right now? Rewatches and first-timers.
What are we watching now? Obviously, The Tiger King.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a definite, and if you aren't, then I don't know what you're doing in 2020. Besides quarantining. That, and then, we're dropping this next week, so Ozark 3.
No, we're actually dropping this week. This will be the prequel to the Thursday Lines episode that drops this week.
Solid. So Ozark 3 comes out fucking Friday.
Okay, there we go. So there's a little anticipation there. We got something on the brewing. Okay, I like it.
What old show did you start to rewatch this past week?
Okay, so this one is, I don't know why, I thought this was going to be a good find, and I started rewatching 24 with Jack Bauer, aka Kiefer Sutherland, and it was on Hulu. Oh my God, it's fucking terrible, man. His daughter is the girl from The Girl Next Door, and she's so goddamn dumb. It drives me crazy. She's like, I can't remember what the term is for when you fall in love with your abductor, but she has that.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
She has Stockholm Syndrome, but she's also kind of like an asshole. Like, no, I know what's going on. And it drives you so goddamn mad. I had to stop watching, 20 hours in, theoretical, technically real hours. Fuck. When I say that out loud, that sounds fucking pathetic.
Hey, Zane, if you're out there, cue that 24. Ding, bing, ding. Whatever that.
Yeah, the clock ticking.
Yeah,
so,
that's gold.
The show is really bad, so I've abandoned it. Right now, I'm still just kind of riding the casual train of Hulu combination with the Netflix. Like you mentioned, we did Tiger King over here. I think Love is Blind is pretty fucking big on the internet. We haven't actually started it, but I feel like there's been this segue of guys that have not been able to watch sports are taking the competition to the other side of the platform where guys are like, okay, where else are we competitive? Whether or not be like competing for chicks. And so they're on the show with Nick Lachey and his wife are hosts. So Love is Blind is the other one that's the internet famous one that I haven't gotten into yet, but I
don't know what it's about.
I'm not shaming. I'll get into it. I just haven't gotten into it yet because I've been having to do the day job. I'll get into it and I'll recap it, but it's more of like a reality show of people getting engaged before meeting each other, and then they meet and then you have to work shit out.
Wow.
Yeah, Chris, it's going to be right up your alley. And then I also want to give a shout out to our friends, Jeff Prost, over there at Survivor. They're still going strong. Classic Survivor. I feel like I'm doing my part. A little less mosquitoes, a little more air conditioning. But we have,